Madman. You're a madman.
Air and water. But you'll find plenty of both down there.
No man, Persian or Greek, no man threatens a messenger.
You bring the crowns and heads of conquered kings to my city steps. You insult my queen. You threaten my people with slavery and death. Oh, I've chosen my words carefully, Persian. Perhaps you should have done the same.
This is blasphemy. This is madness!
Madness. This is Sparta!
So, I figured that was the best way to start off this research topic. I mean, giving a clip like that kind of brings up the intensity as it is. Anyways, so back to the question itself. We're looking at origin between these mythological ideas, Greek mythology and Roman mythology. Starting with Roman mythology, because it's the easiest to see the connection of where it was originated from, it comes straight from Greek mythological ideas. All it did, all the Roman traditions, they just filled it in with Hellenistic views. Which is, I mean, it's kind of common sense if you look at what they did, because they took over the Greeks, so it only makes sense that they took in part of their culture. Looking at Greek mythology, though, it's much more different. Studies actually shown, as I've done this research, that there is no studied place where it originated from. You can see connections between it. Maybe more of the abundant area that it might have originated from is the Epic of Gilgamesh, or somewhere near Asia Minor. But actually, studies have shown, like I said, that we cannot actually find the origination of Greek mythology, which is interesting in itself. Other than that, we have these Greek mythological themes that I think are very important to point out as pride and fate. And I think you saw a little bit of pride in that video clip that I was just shown. But you see this throughout Greek and Roman mythologies, and even in modern movies that you might see. And then obviously you see the idea of fate, because the gods control the situation, so they pretty much choose what everyone's fate is, which is also another interesting topic to think about, branching off of the research topic itself. Looking at differences and similarities between the two was also very hard within this research, because it turns out to be there's really no differences besides the names of the goddesses and gods that were actually referred to between the two mythologies. Greek mythology had Zeus and Roman mythology had Jupiter, but they're the same person, they both represented the same things to the people. But you do see some similar names, like Apollo never changed between the two mythologies when they so-called converted, as some people would say. But maybe in my own personal research, I've seen that more of the Greek mythology are more dependent on their gods, and the people worship them maybe a little bit more. And I think more in Roman mythology it was more free will, and people did more and rebelled against the gods. Almost to say free will, I guess you could say. But sneaking into this next clip, I think you're able to see a little bit more of the second half of this research.
I'll tell you a secret. Something they don't teach you in your temple. Gods envy us. They envy us because we're mortal. Because any moment might be our last. Everything's more beautiful because we're doomed. You will never be lovelier than you are now. We will never be...
So the next clip was obviously from the movie of Troy with Brad Pitt, and it was a sneak peek of Achilles' mind, I guess you could say, rather than just his physical way of war. This kind of brings it into how the gods were thought of and what they represented in some people. And like I said, more in the Roman area, they were more free-willed, and I think you could see this with Achilles. But a big part of this is the idea of how they lived. Unlike Christianity, how we live more to accept Jesus Christ, and in order to get to heaven, we think that we have to live a certain way and accept Jesus the whole time. Back then, it was more what they did mattered. They wanted to, I guess, please the gods, and you see this in different movies and different examples. But that's very interesting to look at, because that's kind of a thin line of how they got to the afterlife, or whatever the gods or Zeus or Jupiter thought their fate was. Mixing this into current culture, the way these mythologies affect current culture is mostly in symbolism. You see this in a lot of different things, and I think it's pretty interesting to see some examples. So you all know Nike, and that's straight from the goddess of victory, who is known to run and fly at very great speeds. You see the Greek god of Atlas, who is the god of astronomy, known for navigation, and what do you know, we have a traveling company called Atlas Travel. We have King Midas, who is a Greek king, and we have this saying called the Midas touch, and King Midas was known for anything he touched turned into gold. Maybe some more, I guess, abundant ones are Venus. It's obviously a planet, but it's also a beauty product named after the Roman Aphrodite for love and beauty. And obviously we have Trojan, and not just the condom for, I guess, the impenetrable city, if you want to take it for that pun, but more for the Trojan virus as well. But after seeing how these mythologies relate to current society and modern society, I think every research topic brings you into a different question, and mine would be a comparison between all religions, because I think it's a very interesting thing to look at, because even back then, religion was almost used as a scapegoat. Something bad happened, you can say, well, it was the God's fate, or the gods wanted this to happen. And nowadays you see this with a lot of people. If something bad happens, you can say, well, everything happens for a reason, and it's an easy way out of things, and an easy way to not have to control it with yourself or your mind. I guess it works as a scapegoat, and it's a reason to do things, and a reason to blame things on other things, and not to take full responsibility. And I think that's a very interesting topic that this would go into. But that's a gist, and that's a quick overview of my research, and I guess I'll end it with this clip.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?